Hi everyone! Guess who it is? It's me. It's Jennifer, in case you were wondering. What you see there is the back of my head, taken just after Christmas, just before I got my hair cut. Thought it would be a suitably mysterious picture. And this is my Dare entry, basically, telling you a little bit about my day, and because it will take all of probably 10 seconds, going to tell you a bit about my hometown. I hope this won't be too boring. My day consisted of going to driving school in the morning, then, because I'm doing my driver's license, and I came home and did a little bit of work, not too much, because you never want to do too much work, and then I came home and met up with some friends in the evening. So that was my incredibly exciting day, and because that is the sum total of what I've done, I guess I'll have to move on to my plan B, which is to tell you a little bit about where I come from. As you all know, I think Austria. I come from a town called Graz. That's how English people pronounce it. It's really Graz, but people find that kind of difficult. So it's Graz, I guess. So what you see here is like a bird's eye view of Graz, I guess. Sort of like the inner city, the most important part, I suppose. And what you see nestled in there, in fact, I'll tell you about that later, because first we've got this picture, which is like a panorama shot of one of the main areas of Graz, and that's taken from the Art House in Graz, which is a very new building. It was built in 2003, and that's sort of looking out on the rest of Graz. And it's quite famous in Graz, so we call it the Friendly Alien, and you'll see why from that picture, because that's what it looks like from the outside, which I guess looks kind of ugly, but it works really well next to all these really old buildings and these kind of orange roofs. And there's another picture of it at night. They light it up and stuff, and that was just around the corner from my school. My school was literally just straight ahead and then right. There it is again at night. And that's kind of the shot again where you can see it in the midst of all the other buildings. And that's the main river called the Mur. And you can just see sort of towards the right is the little island they built, also in 2003. There it is at night. That island is a cafe and a bakery, and there's also sometimes there are concerts there, which I'm sure is some kind of health and safety risk. But it's actually really nice, and I like it. And there's another picture of it, all relatively new. And this is on the bridge, sort of going across Graz. I took that picture. Yeah, what a photographer, hey? Well, not quite, but no, I did take that picture. That was literally just around the corner from my school, sort of between. That was taken between that art building I was telling you about and the main river and where that little island thing is. And then that was one day, I think it was last June or something like that. Walking home, was a really beautiful day, and that was kind of like the route I took every day to school. Obviously not anymore, because I don't go to school anymore. Yippee. And then probably one of the most important parts is this, which is the main square, where there are lots of little stands that sell food and stuff. There's a lot of shops around there, and there's obviously a lot of the old buildings. That's a slightly newer shot of it. And that's kind of like a central place. That is actually right next to where my driving school is now, so I have to go there every day for 2 weeks now, which gets quite boring. And it's also where the city hall is, which is that's the city hall, where our mayor works. I'm not sure why he needs such a big building. Not that much happens here, but there you go. That's politics, I suppose. That's the city hall. Fascinating. Then there's the main street, which is like the main kind of shopping street, which is tiny compared to most cities' shopping streets. But this is kind of like the beginning of the street, and just on the corner you get the best ice cream ever. That's one of the more famous buildings in that street, which is very, 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 very old and has survived quite a lot. That's just some of the buildings in the main shopping street. And we haven't actually got to the most important part yet, I guess, which is this bad boy called the Schlossberg, which is basically a clock tower which has been around for a really, really long time as well. And the hands on the clock are actually switched. So the minute hand is the short one and the hour hand is the long one. And that's because in the past the hours were considered much more important than the minutes. And obviously it was more important to see what hour it was rather than the minutes. And that's one way leading up to it, all those steps, which looks longer than it actually is, than how long it takes you to get up there. But we go up there quite often in summer. It's quite nice because you've got little paths leading off it to quite secluded areas, and my friends and I sometimes go up there. I'm sure this is all really interesting. In Graz we travel around in trams, and that is basically just the main tram stop where all the trams meet. And the one on the left there, the number 3, is my tram. That took that tram for like 9 years every day to and from school. So it's a very special tram, as you can see. And these are just some pictures of around Graz, sort of in the centre. So these are some of the older streets, like some pretty little buildings. It's one of my favourite streets. That's in the main park, which isn't particularly spectacular, but it serves its purpose. There you can just see some of the park. And this is one of the older buildings, one of the sort of more grand buildings sort of in the north of Graz. Used to belong to the Habsburgs, I think. And it's a nice place to visit, nice place to walk around. And this is the Opera House. Unfortunately, quite a lot of it was destroyed in World War II. Graz was taken over by the Nazis, and about 1,700 people died at the time. But they managed to rebuild a lot of the city, and even restore a lot of the old architecture, which is nice. And this is a beautiful church very close to where I live. It's sort of a Gothic church, lovely architecture. And this place used to be my primary school. That's where I went through that door 4 years of my life, little Jennifer going in there. And actually when I was at school there, I was already a huge Beatles fan. I was the only 9-year-old with a Sgt. Pepper school bag, and that was where I got very upset at one of the girls in my class who said that the Spice Girls were better than the Beatles. Very traumatic day. And these are just some of the areas just outside of Graz, close to where I live. And this is the most famous chocolate in Austria, Mozart chocolate. And although he wasn't actually from Graz, he was from Salzburg, but you can get this anywhere. So if you ever come here, you have to try it because it's brilliant. It's the best chocolate ever. And this is the main sort of mountain close to where I live, which isn't a particularly big mountain by Austrian standards, but I think probably compared to some other countries it might be considered quite a high mountain. But in Austria there are much grander mountains. But it's really nice. I like it there, and we used to go there a lot when I was a kid. This is sort of what it looks like, and it's a lovely place to go. Lovely place to go on a day trip. And there are a couple more pictures of Graz. So that was basically my little dare game entry. I hope you liked it. I know it wasn't quite as witty as Tony's. Sorry about that. I don't have his wit. It's because I'm half Austrian. And yeah, I hope you learned a little bit more about Graz through that. It does actually have one connection to Liverpool. The Beatles were from here. No, not really. But in 2003 it was the European Cultural Capital, which Liverpool is this year, as we know, Liverpool 08, and it was Graz 03. So that's the only Beatley connection I could find. And that's probably quite a fitting ending to my dare entry. So I hope you liked it, and sorry that it was so long. I tend to ramble on, as you guys very well know. So yeah, I think I'll go and upload this now. Talk to you all soon on the forum. Bye!